Am I plugged into the internet? I am. I think it's starting. Thank you, my dear. The baby just brought me water. Okay, I'm setting up. And always Instagram is the hardest thing. What is it about getting the tech right with Instagram? It's because my tripod is not quite what it's supposed to be. So Carrington, all I do is press on my picture, and then where's the live thing? No, the TV?
No.
What do I click on Instagram? Why is Instagram always problematic to go live on? Can you come show me?
You swipe to the left and you hit live.
Swipe to the left and hit live. Unable to use this effect. It's looking at my light rather than looking at me. How do I spin it around?
Hit the flip around button.
I don't see a flip around button on this view. Let me see. Oh, it's at the top instead of the bottom. There it is. No.
Yeah.
Back to my light. Oh yeah, I will. I will, Brooke. Thank you for letting me know that. Kind of centered, so I have both. Okay. Should we go live or should we wait 2 more minutes until everybody else is supposed to come on board? You know why my hair looks so great? Because my 16-year-old just shot a headshot because I'm redoing my whole website logo. And of course they asked for a new picture, which I hate. So I had to spend time pretending to be my friend Lisa, who normally does my hair. Hi, everybody. Hi, wave to me. There's Hiker Jane. There's Jeff. Hi. Tell me what city you're in. I always want to know. What city are you in, or country, or state, or what have you? Okay, let me take off this live stream, these banners, and change it to, why not advertise my KFI show while we're there? I also figured out that I can go to your comments, and if I can click on them, hi, hello, people joining me on other platforms. Having plants at home help during COVID-19. Plants, water, love, talk to them. I'm not exactly a horticulturist, but that's what I would suggest. Hi, Linda from Pasadena. Who else we got over here? San Diego. Oh, hello. He called me Professor Walsh, so I guess I should put that hat on sometimes. Where else are you guys? Tell me where you are. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Say hello to my brother, Chris. He's there. He lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma with his wife, Karen. And India, all the way from India. Wow, that's a big deal. Thank you very much. That's a weird question because I don't understand it, Carson, because I'm not familiar with adult swaddling. I know some people like weighted blankets and it makes them feel more secure. Some people like lots of hugs. Not sure what that means. Where else we got? Iowa City, Iowa. Hello, hello, hello. What a treat. Wow. That's amazing. An Australian in Beverly Hills. Great, great, great. You're not going to tell me what city you're in there because you think I'll make fun of you. I don't know what city I would make fun of. Not Bakersfield. Why does that always end up as the brunt of people's jokes? I mean, Bakersfield is like where you pass to go to the bathroom on the way to Vegas. I think that's what it is. Oh, from Fiji. You're watching from Fiji. That's so cool. All right. So when I see some interesting questions, I will be able to put them upstream. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter through Periscope, I will be able to take your comment, put it on the screen, and we can answer. So if you do have questions about relationship dynamics, family issues while you're quarantining, then post them. The ones that I will see over here on Instagram, I don't have my assistant with me. Both my kids decided not to participate this time. I'll just have to hopefully catch it as you go by. So hello to everybody. Make sure you let me know what city you're at because it's really, oh, Palm Beach. Wow, all the way from Palm Beach. Craver, not Richard Cravers. Is it? No, could it be? Oh, Mr. Kulas. See, I can't even call him his first name John because he was a 5th grade teacher of my daughter. So he's Mr. Kulas to me forever. Thanks for joining. Okay, I want to talk about something while I'm waiting for your questions to crop up about relationships or family dynamics. And what I want to talk about is getting out of quarantine. Now, we know that many states have opened up. Here in California, we have not opened up yet. I was watching CNN this morning, and the governor of Montana is ready to open up that entire state because they haven't had one case in a few days, and they've been on a big decline, like 1 case, 0 case, 2 case, 0 case. So that's a big deal. But here's the problem. Anybody who shows up, just in case you're thinking of getting in your car and driving to Montana, you have to quarantine for 14 days if you enter the state. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to monitor that, but just saying, your moral should tell you that that's what you have to do. Because once they got none out there, then they've got to keep them out. So our germs from other states can't come in. So the big question I want to ask, hello, Venice Beach. I miss my Venice Beach. This is my home for 21 years. I'm down in Hermosa Beach right now, but we'll be back in Venice at some point. I want to talk about how you make decisions about whether it's safe to go out for your family. And the most important thing you have to do is think about who you're quarantining with and their vulnerability to disease. So if you have grandma, grandpa, any elderly people in your household, you're going to be really cautious about who you let out and who you let in, right? And where the exposure is. Ditto, if you have anybody that has an underlying health condition. It says Facebook is not streaming, FYI, says producer Brooke. Why would Facebook not be streaming? It shows on here that it is through StreamYard. Very bizarre. Try both my pages, Brooke. I don't want to end the broadcast and rehook it up because I'm getting check marks here showing that it should be streaming on Facebook. Don't know what that means. Okay, so if you have anybody with an underlying health condition, you're going to want to be cautious, right? And that might include any autoimmune disease. It might include diabetes, heart disease. It could include, they're doing a big link between obesity and COVID-19 deaths. So if you have family members who suffer from obesity, you're going to want to really protect them. Also, I'm sweating. It's really hot, and I moved up to my loft, and the heat from the whole house comes up to the loft here. So I have some ice water. Then you need to think about the people who are leaving and where they're actually going. Oh. Some of you guys probably can't hear me because I just noticed that my microphone was on the ground instead of beside me. Things you learn. I don't like having to be a full IT department. I have to do hair, makeup, lighting, production. It's all too much. So you want to think about what kind of workplace that you or your spouse or anybody else in your house is going into, how clean that workplace is, what kind of protections are available in that workplace, how many people they'll be exposed to in that workplace, how, whether you have to wear mask and gloves the whole time, which I think most of us will have to. So these are individual decisions. Then there's the social stuff. In Canada, my sister-in-law was telling me that they're doing things, moving from a one bubble family to a two bubble family. So you figure out sort of who your closest friends are that have kids around the same age as your kids, and you decide that you'll only go to those two houses. And you're going to think a little bit about who you really want to expand your bubble with, right? Who's safe and who's been quarantining. And when I say safe, I don't mean just healthy. I mean, how many people are they being exposed to? Do they have a workplace where they're working with the general public on a regular basis, right? Okay, so what else might you consider? Okay, things like restaurants. So I'm just going to tell you my personal policy. When and if we do open up here in California, I am fully prepared that the next big spike in COVID infections, and I'm sorry, mortality will happen in the fall. I really think we are following the pattern of the great pandemic of 1918, 1919. And they did exactly what we're doing. They quarantined in the spring, then the weather got nice, everybody felt safer, they all ran out, and the biggest wave was in the fall and winter. So the summer is really dependent on how safe we can keep ourselves. So if restaurants open here in California, I would only go to outdoor cafes with extreme social distancing. If there's any restaurant that has any interior space, I'm not going there. Ditto from movie theaters. I have a flat screen at home. I can find every movie I need online. Not doing movie theaters. Sporting events, nope, not going to happen. Concerts, nope, not going to happen. Now, one of the things I like to do is I tour museums and I go to gardens, and generally there's more open space and outdoor space at those kinds of places, botanical gardens, public gardens, art galleries, etc. So hopefully they will be practicing a kind of social distancing where they will limit the amount of people. In fact, yesterday I went down again. Oh, my birthday. Since I saw you last week, I had a birthday. I forgot to tell you about my birthday. So yes, thank you, Ping Pong Dave. Stay away from lots of sugar. Sugar lowers immunity. This is very, very, very true. And all grains turn into glucose, sugar in your body. That's pasta, rice, bread. I know I'm just filled with cheery news today, aren't I? And of course, alcohol. So my kids took me on a picnic to something called the South Coast Botanical Garden in Rancho Palos Verdes. And it was so nice. Two of my girlfriends came. We all social quarantined far apart on picnic blankets. And it was so nice because the county is allowing them to stay open. If they limit the amount of people that enter, you have to make a reservation and buy a ticket. It's nominal. It's just $15. And there's lots of open spaces. You do have to wear a mask, but, those moments when there's nobody around and you stop to smell the roses are quite beautiful. So I do suggest getting out to places where you are allowed to go. Some people are saying they had to stop going to restaurants anyway. Because it costs so much money. Of course, cooking at home, we've all learned how to cook now. We've learned how to save money. That's a great thing. Yes, I do think restaurants will be a nightmare. You think, Jason C., that this will only last 6 months or so, that there's a vaccine that's coming? Well, the fastest vaccine that we've ever seen was 4 years. So it would be amazing. I missed last week and was so happy to find the live stream saved on your Facebook page. So if this isn't streaming on Facebook, because producer Brooke is telling me it's not right now, someone else check and tell me if it is, then... here, look, I just want to show you how I can do this. I can take someone's comment. Oh, and there's Megan's comment right there on the screen. So when I see questions, I can pop them up and then I can answer them. So if you, yes, Cam, thank you for taking your probiotics. Very, very important. What was I just going to say? We were talking about heading out there, quarantining. Don't eat sugar, not good for your immune system. I was telling you about my birthday. Oh, the picnic was absolutely great. And then I had a favorite chef from my neighborhood, Chef Luca from Sosta Restaurant, cooked me a great birthday dinner. I went and picked it up. So I understand that argument, Jason. Jason's saying we should only be quarantining the elderly and high risk. Well, that would be me, because I'm 58 years old and I do have a small genetic underlying health condition. So that would be me. So you want the young and the healthy to go out there and get exposed. That is what they're doing in Sweden. They're trying to create the herd immunity. Right now, Sweden has the highest deaths. So the truth will be told in about a year, and then we will really know. It's quite a risk to take with your child or young person, right? Oh, so it is streaming on Facebook now. Okay, thank you, Valentina Craver from Palm Beach. If you guys have any questions about relationships, family dynamics, questions during quarantine, one of the questions that's been presented to me a few times this week is, what if you're living with somebody who doesn't take quarantine as seriously as you do, right? That's hard, especially if you're in a love relationship with them and you have kids together and you want to keep them. So I want to remind everybody, I want to read this in a minute. I want to remind everybody how to make that communication sandwich, right? If you tell a bad person they're bad, or you disagree with them, or they're wrong, or they're dumb, that's not going to change their behavior. Most of us, if we're told anything negative about ourselves, we just raise our defenses, right? So I want to remind you that a communication sandwich starts with a layer of love. You remind that person why you're there, why you love them, why you care. And then it's a layer of something a little harder to chew on. And then it's the ask, right? I'm asking you to please respect the quarantine, respect my feelings because I'm worried, blah, blah, blah. And then you follow it up with another layer of love and a compliment. If you do that, maybe you'll be heard. If this person is really doing a lot of high-risk behavior and you have a big health concern for you or an elderly person, you might consider quarantining yourself in your own house. Okay, something from Laura. I'm 39 weeks pregnant tomorrow. I'm so excited for you. That's so exciting. Likely to be induced by the weekend. My mother's coming out for 2 weeks and my husband works from home. Any suggestions for how to navigate this? Mother, husband. Okay, so my friend Lisa, her daughter Camden had a baby last week, all alone in the hospital. So I don't know what your hospital situation is or if you're doing a home birth, but no, if you're being induced, you're going to the hospital. So nobody
was allowed in the hospital that she went, and she had to give birth alone. She was just 27, first baby. But people who work in maternity wards, they're so loving and they got this down, right? And then as soon as she had the baby, it was like, goodbye, like don't even wait around, just go home. So suggestions on how to navigate this. I think the main thing is now's the time to have communication about it. Who's going to have jurisdiction over what? I will tell you this, I'm not sure if it's your first, Laura, but when I had my first baby, I was shocked that 8 pounds of flesh comes into your house, and it comes along with 40 pounds of laundry every week and hormones that make you want to nest and tidy. And you can't because you're breastfeeding or recovering from a C-section or what have you. And so you're really freaking out. So I would have the conversation that you will feel crazy in the head if the house gets too messy, because that's a very common postpartum symptom. So talk to them about who's going to be on laundry duty, who's going to be on kitchen duty, who's going to be helping out with meals. What they all want to do, of course, is help out with the baby. But the baby just needs you. They need your breasts. They need your body right now. And so in order to support the breastfeeding family, you have to really support the breastfeeding mother. So that I would spend some time talking about how you're going to divide and conquer before it shows up. So it's going to be a lot of housework. I will say that. And there's also going to be some night duty. And the night duty is mainly on you if you're breastfeeding, which you will be. It's a newborn, right? And then the daytime, these other people have to let you with sleep because you got to put yourself on the baby schedule, right? This idea that we try to put babies on adult schedules is a little nutty. Okay, let's try another one. Kimberly says, oh, no, that's Jason's went up. Where did Kimberly's go? It's going so fast. There she is. Why is it that married for a long time and we're living together and then this happens and I'm sorry, I have to put my glass on. And the fights start and get nasty and threatens divorce, but hasn't done that before. Okay, this is a really good one. I have to explain it. So, there is that saying that adversity doesn't create character, it reveals it. That's not true. All adversity does is raises anxiety and shows you somebody's coping strategies against stress. So what I'm trying to say is who you're living with right now is not who you signed up to live with, because you didn't sign up to live with somebody during a really stressful time, right? The person you're living with is a person coping with stress as best they can. And I think we all need to work harder to practice forgiveness and to show some patience. Patience, patience, patience. And when you do find yourself fighting, try to ask yourself, how can I make the relationship win? Not me win this argument, not them admit they're wrong. What can I do to keep us in relationship, right? So it's hard. These are tough times. Don't be thinking about divorce. Be thinking about each day. What can I do today to feed my relationship, to make it better? Have you been name calling, finger pointing, that awful silent treatment that most often leads to divorce? Can you instead just focus on problem solving, forgiveness, and patience? And even if they don't, if you can do it, that can go a long way to helping things. Here's a good question. This from Jason C. Do you see an issue if I visit family and friends that I know are not sick and have been quarantining? Well, that's like having sex without a condom. You really got to trust your partner and what they're saying, right? So every time you go to another house, you are also kissing everybody that they've ever seen in the last few weeks, whether it's house cleaners, delivery people, whether they're going into workplaces. So you have to remember that every person leads to 50 other people, right? Depending on how they're quarantining. If you're 100% sure that they've been quarantining and literally not seeing anybody, and it's been more than 14 days. As I said, in Canada, they're trying this thing now where they're doing 2 family bubbles. And then eventually the 2 family bubble might expand to a 3 family bubble. But the more people you get in the bubble, the more risk there is that germs can come in. So I think that's the key. Now, when you say they haven't been sick, we have to remember that this virus is so crazy that there are super spreaders out there that will never get sick and never show symptoms and just spread it around. So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, let's find another question. I like putting them up on the screen. It's so much fun. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. What a nice thing to say. She's just thanking me in a nice way. Okay, Claire. Claire says, I tested positive for COVID a month ago. I don't really have symptoms. My anxiety and depression are not doing well. Plus, I've had to go to any medical office. When I have to go, probably. Read, Wendy. It says that when I have to go to any medical office, the looks I receive from staff are pretty bad. Can we all stop? Sickness is not anybody's fault. Being exposed to COVID is a random event. Claire, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And I want you to be well. Hopefully, if you tested positive and you don't have symptoms, that you are one of those lucky people with an amazing immune system, that you're the person who may not show symptoms. So please, push through this. You may be one of the lucky people who gets the antibody and is able to donate plasma that can save lives. I know that you're worried about two things. If I tested positive, I'd be like every day going, okay, is a symptom today? Is the respirator coming today? Like, you just never know, right? But if you can get through 14 days, you tested a month ago. So I'm pretty sure that you would not test positive today. And I would go and get an antibody test if I were you. I also want to just tell everybody out there, stop discriminating against anybody. An Asian person, somebody who had COVID, just stop it. Stop it. We're all in this together. Okay. Any other questions? Let's see. This is a funny question, but why don't I answer it, because it's a funny question. How many genders are there? How many colors flowers are there? I don't know. There are many genders as there are people. And I want to remind everybody that gender is both biological and it's both psychological, and it's biological because we know there are at least 70 different variations in sex chromosomes alone that have been identified. Somebody might have an X and a half a Y, or an XXY, or a YY half of an X, or something that just looks a little funny. And as a result, their internal genitalia or their internal reproductive structures may not match their external genitalia, yet we slap a gender on a baby just by looking at one thing only, external genitalia, right? And then we tell them you have to be that. But there are plenty of people walking around, believe it or not, who have a penis and ovaries. There are many people walking around who have a vagina and undescended testes. And as a result, these internal organs are giving off hormones that change their psychology, right? So there are as many genders as there are colors of flowers, and we need to get over this idea that there are two. Okay, what else have I got? Comments, can't post it, learn more. I don't know. Some destinations are saying they won't see. I see Facebook is coming in. Any more questions on that one? Let me move over. I'll just put a thank you. But these 70 genders were just discovered in the past few years. No, the medical community is known for a very, very long time, as long as we've been doing chromosomal testing. Why were we not taught this in recent A&P class? I don't know what Hiker-Jane A&P stands for. Arts and programming? I don't know. What does A&P stand for? Psychology? I don't know. I teach it. I teach developmental psychology, and I also teach health psychology. So I teach a class on gender. There was a House episode about this. Good to know. Why hasn't, I can't say the name of this drug well, Jason, remdesivir, been a game changer in the pandemic? The reason is simple. It does not cure COVID. All the research has shown is that in a large percentage of the population, it reduces their hospital stay time. It also cannot be taken orally. It'll never be taken orally. It can only be taken through intravenous at this point. Anatomy and physiology. Thank you, Linda. I should know this, right? A&P stands for anatomy and physiology. Why was it not taught in that class? I don't know. I'll be happy to send you slides on it and send you the names of some of the, I hate to call them diagnosis. I don't even like to call them abnormalities of sex chromosomes. I call them variations. This is what it is, right? Claire, you're quite welcome. They won't retest you yet. You should ask for an antibody test. I've been getting emails from primary care places, urgent care places saying, come in, get an antibody test. I know this is up high in the sky dream, but I had a really, really bad flu in the fall that was unlike any flu I'd had before. It wasn't normal. And I drove myself to the hospital in the middle of the night one time for, I thought a strep throat test, came back negative, flu test, came back negative. And I was sick for like a full week. Then my daughter came down with what they finally said, well, let's just call it mono, but same deal. Her throat was so swollen and white gunk and pus on it. And she had such a high fever and she was sick for like a month. And they kept saying, well, her blood work shows she's fighting off something, but we can't identify what it is. So we're going to basically call her mono because it's contagious and we don't want her being around kids and all that kind of stuff. So I keep thinking, what if COVID came early? Because I got my flu right after I flew back from the Redwood Forest in Northern California, and I had a 3-hour layover in San Francisco. And thank you, Brooke. Producer Brooke said I'm doing better with the techie stuff now. I'm trying to figure it out. Anyway, so I wonder, more flights came from China to San Francisco than they did to New York. I mean, New York had the big outbreak because people came from Europe, right? It came later through Europe. But I'm thinking California got some early stuff. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Any more questions? It's hard to be talking to 2 different cameras. There's Instagram, hi Instagram. There's everybody else. And also be scanning, show more. Do you have to, no, that's a hide show. What if someone thinks they're without a gender? Then they're without a gender. I mean, gender is partly psychological and social, and you can be non-gender conforming. You can be, you can be a human being and just love human beings, right? And also gender, of course, has nothing to do with sexual orientation. They're 2 completely different ideas, right? It says, Linda Crawford says that you can purchase an antibody test directly from Quest Diagnostics for $120 if your doc won't order it. That's good to know. Is that just in California, I wonder? Quest is a national company, right? And then over here on Instagram, someone says, my fiance got really sick at Thanksgiving, just like that. I'm telling you, I think COVID was sneaking its way around California a lot earlier than we thought that it did. Anything else? Why do these ones, it says, it says some of them come in them. Oh, you're welcome. Working from home from 8 weeks. Good. Well, I'm just going to answer that question on Instagram because it's just so nice. It was, how did you get so beautiful, Dr. Walsh? Well, I will tell you, it's just the DNA jackpot. I am 58 years old. I turned 58 last week, and I don't have anything. No Botox, no nothing. I'm like, Melania Trump says that too, doesn't she? I'm sweating though right now. But I'll tell you, I know lighting. Ladies, the most important thing in the world is lighting. And in fact, my first few live streams, I was using this natural light coming in from the window. I have these soft kind of frosted windows. And now I finally went out and got a proper light kit. I have 2 soft box professional lights there. And the main reason was, since I can't go outside, I'm redesigning my whole website and brand. And it's just, I'm so excited. There's a company in Beverly Hills called Flat 6 Concepts who are doing amazing work. I'm so excited. And so they needed a new headshot for my website. Well, I'm quarantined, so what can I'm not going to call a hairdresser, a makeup artist, a photographer. So my 16-year-old daughter, Jones, has very high visual intelligence. And so yes, 58. Mario. And so I asked her to take the picture today. And that's why I ordered a professional light set so that I could do my own headshots at home if I needed to. And I thought, well, they're here. Might as well use them for my live stream as well. I've got the lighting. It's all about the lighting. Once they figure out a good therapeutic available for this virus, of course, it'll be wonderful once they do. I want to tell you, this is only my not even educated opinion. This is my guess opinion. This is going to be the new normal for a long time. And I think a version of COVID is going to come back every season. Eventually, we'll have to get a COVID vaccine every season when they finally invent it. Here's a good question from Instagram. My cousin just went to my aunt's mountain house last week. Now I want to go. Is that safe? He left last week. It just depends what you're going to do there. You're going to be going into town, bringing your city germs to everybody there. That's not a good idea because the hospitals there do not have the capacity in smaller towns and rural places. So that's not a good idea. On the other hand, if you're going to go and have someone just deliver your food and you only order takeout, then you know what? Go enjoy some fresh air. There's nothing better to boost your immune system than the outdoors. The thing is, just don't expose yourself to people. And don't be around lots of people, but going into nature could work. There's a lot of comments here about hair clippers and hair cutting. Yeah, I know. My daughter, my 16-year-old, I don't know if you've seen her on any of my social media, she cut her hair off completely. Thank you for liking my glasses. They are Yves Saint Laurent. Thank you very much. But unfortunately, they make my eyes look big and buggy because they're I have glasses that are, what do you call those, trifocals or whatever, the different prescriptions, but this is only for up close reading. Like, look, it's crazy. Bug eyes. That's what I tell my kids. These give me bug eyes. But anyway, the virus genome changes just like the flu. Yes, but I saw a doctor say that generally viruses, when they change, they become less viral, less contagious, and less powerful. So every time they mutate, they actually lose something. Somebody asked me on Instagram, Roses Purple 27 says, I've been told that I'm emotionally shut down. How do I help myself? I want to say this, how you present to other people is not necessarily the truth. The question really is, how much insight do you have into your own emotions, whether you express them out loud to other people? I mean, one of my daughters is full of emotion and she wears her colors on her sleeve. And the other one is very much an introvert and has a lot of social anxiety. She's been doing great in quarantine. And she doesn't express a lot with her face. I can read in her eyes because I'm her mom when she's having a feeling. So the question is really, what are you experiencing, Roses Purple 27? Are you feeling alone and lonely and unable to connect with others? Would you, there are lots of therapists online who can give you some social skills training, who can teach you some emotional intelligence and having some insight. It's all possible to learn. But if it's just criticism from other people, fuck them. I'm sorry. Oh, did I say that? There's no FCC rules here, are there? I don't think there are. Oh, hello. Paul, is it Paulsen Hotus? I can't say it, in Brazil. I love it when people come from around the world. An anti-reflective coating. That is what I need, because I never planned on wearing these on camera. That's why I didn't bother paying that extra that you pay for the anti-reflective coating. I wonder if you can do it afterwards, after they're already done. Thank you for the nice compliments, but it's only because I spent an hour and a half doing my hair and makeup so that my 16-year-old to take a headshot of me today for my new website design. Okay, what else do you want to talk about before I go? Are we already at the half-hour mark? I only like to do 30 minutes because who wants to hang out forever? Full of what? Robert said, I love that you cussed right now. I have to tell you, when I first started doing radio, my young producer, Nick, who now produces the Gary and Shannon show during the day, he would have to hit that button. We're on an 8-second delay, right? Because I am such a natural conversation person that now I did TV for years and years and years, but mostly I was reading a teleprompter. And of course I still do a lot of commentary, news commentary on CNN, etc. And I just know when there's a TV camera, don't swear. But there's something about being alone in a studio with a microphone and you're just yabbering away that all my little shits and fucks would come out. And he'd be like, oh, no, you can't do that. So I had to train myself. So now I actually, what is a live stream? I mean, it's just like you coming into my house, right? This is my little loft office above the living room. So I can say what I want at my house, right? Why not? Anyway, from Victoria. I used to live in Victoria. I went to middle school there. We lived in Esquimalt. Or my dad worked on the base in Esquimalt. No, of course we lived there. He was in the Navy. And anyway, I love you all. And thank you so much for being here on my live streams. I'm going to come every Wednesday and live stream. And I'll usually think of 1 or 2 topics to fill when you don't have questions, but always, if you want to post any questions ahead of time on my social, you certainly can. And if you're a KFI listener, to tune in every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific time to KFI AM 640 Los Angeles. And anywhere else in the world, you can listen to it live on the iHeartRadio app. And watch this. Let's see if I can do this correctly now for all the other banners. Podcast is called Mating Matters. And you can listen to my podcast that I produce with producer Brooke Peterson anywhere you listen to your podcasts. That would be iTunes, Google Play, I don't know, Stitcher, of course, the iHeartRadio app. So anyway, it's great to be with you. Contact me on social media at Dr. Wendy Walsh. I'm happy to answer your questions and help you out in any way that I possibly can. We are all in this together, even though we're sick of hearing that now. How about stay strong and be smart? That's what I say. Good night, everybody. Good to see you. End the broadcast there.